That's more right on target. We must have bounced on something.
Switch to Celsius. I can't read Celsius.
I can. It's just something with a C after it. Not.
Well, we're pretty close to 0 Celsius.
Yeah, we're
I
pretty.
know that's not a good thing.
Welcome back to the good old Southern IA. We have kind of a packed day here today. My dad's gonna be tilling in about half an hour. Brandon, the champion seed agronomist, is supposed to be coming down here to go look at all the corn that we have in the ground, get some opinions on it, see how things are going. This morning when I woke up, it was like 28 degrees or something. But the good news is that it was overcast all night long and it's not sunny right now. So I don't think that there was actually a frost today. I could have been wrong, but I also didn't look first thing this morning. The rated part of it was, so it just changed out of my finger. So if you guys don't know, you're tuned into the iowANFarmer YouTube channel where you see him and also him. Right now we're doing the spring vlog. That means that you guys are just trying to keep up, and I'm trying to keep you guys up with what we're doing every single day, working to get the crop in the ground. My girlfriend Molly is editing all the videos, so she says that you better hit the thumbs up button, otherwise she's coming for you. Dylan and Andrew are working on the planter again today, the bean planter here. They're putting the precision planter solution kits onto these arms, reaming them out, working them up so that they're good to go. This morning I just ordered some actual arms that are already pre-made from them. They're going to be showing up here to do even more row units on this planter. I wish I would have done them all, gotten them all done already, but we're getting there. If you guys need some new arms for your Kinsey planters, John Deere planters, call them. You will not be disappointed.
I'm getting help with my credit card right now, man.
Yeah, you are?
Right now, yeah.
Want to give us that number?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, not that one.
So I'm not sure if we're gonna plant today or not because it is 36 degrees outside. But it's supposed to warm up. But playing the odds, I'm gonna get the base station set up. There's an RX going right over my shoulder. Here in a few videos, I have something coming really cool so you guys can actually get RTK correction if you have a globe like this. You'll just have to stay tuned though. That without needing a base station. I got a question. So the reamer, that big reamer, I think it like goes nicely through it until it gets to like this. That's consistently, like it starts to kind of squeak. Too much, you know, in terms of like, oh, okay, all right, I'll let you know because, okay, we'll do. All right, yep, sounds good, thanks, bye. Man, it's cold out here. Dad's starting up the 9400 like he's going to do something. Wi-Fi. We're connected to her. Oh man, I can't remember that, but it should save that stuff. 192, there it is. You can talk to it, see all the green bars there. That's how you can tell it to survey, how long to survey, everything like that to get these fixed points. As long as you got a survey, this thing pops up pretty darn quick, but you can talk to it with your phone. This one says good to go. That's a long drive to Missouri. All right.
Where's our bottles of graphite?
In my dually. Oh! Hey! Whoa. This thing so we can put some seed in it. Planter yoga. Brandon showed up. We're gonna go look at corn. So if you don't know who Brandon is, Brandon's Champion's agronomist, one of Champion's agronomists. Probably seen him on Cole's channel before. We're gonna start out with the last stuff we planted and then we'll work towards the first stuff we planted. Which, what do you think's more at risk? Probably the first stuff.
Yeah, probably be furthest along and closest to the soil surface where temperature is going to be the coldest.
Is this the kind of stuff that agronomists kind of geek about? Like, you know, planting conditions when we went were perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. And now we've cooled off.
Each individual instance is kind of its own little experiment on how it's going to turn out.
But yeah, I believe that if the insurance date wasn't what it was, there would have been more guys planting.
Yeah, soil conditions, soil moisture were about as perfect as you can ask for. We just didn't have the forecast and the temperatures to cooperate.
After we planted, we were like 75, 80 degrees for multiple days. I bet our soil temperatures were well over 50. They had to be to germinate. So, and we just tested it. What did we say it was?
47.7.
47.
No, sorry, 41.7.
41.7. That's what our soil temperatures are right now.
Yep.
So we'll head that way. What's more important in your opinion, soil conditions or soil temperature? To a certain degree. To a certain degree.
That perfect balance.
Like if you got good soil conditions and temperatures up turn there.
Yeah, I think for the longevity of the crop, soil conditions are probably going to have the longest lasting impact. You know, if you mud in your corn,
you're going to have issues
all season long. You're going to have root development issues and problems that, you know, with nutrient uptake and really affect that ultimate yield potential. Soil temperature is definitely a component in that. I think you're better off to plant into cold soils when the forecast is rising, planting into warm soils when the forecast gets cold. That's where we might see a few more issues with that even emergence and that consistent stand.
So that's kind of what my dad and I are debating right now, and that's where we're going to plant his corn today if we plant. Is what I'm scared of is if we're now in theory 9 degrees basically, or 8 degrees from where the optimal 50-degree temperature is what everybody says. Is that what I'm scared of? Is that parts of the soil will warm up faster possibly than other parts of the soil, depending on if it's a wet spot or a dry spot and stuff like that. And I think that could ding our emergence. Is that correct? Yeah, absolutely. Different soil types, different soil moisture levels are going to affect that field differently. But yeah, and even, you know, the individual seeds, you know, your cold germination scores and your percents of how many seeds are going to germinate kind of all comes into that final stand equation. What you just said, cold germination, and cold germination is actually kind of, I think, should be more of a popular statistic. Is that most of the germination's done what's a warm germ, and that's over 50 or at 50, is that right? Oh, at 50. Yep. And what temperature is the cold germination done at? The cold germination sits in soil or a soil mixture in a lab for 24 hours below 50 degrees, and then after 24 hours they crank it up to about 70 and see how many of those survive that cold spell and are able to emerge when soil conditions were more ideal. Whereas the warm germ just goes straight into that 70-degree soil just to see how many are going to come popping up and be able to be viable seeds. So if you go to try and plant some possibly cooler or more risky corn with the soil temperatures, the cold germ is a very important statistic for you. Straight ahead. We are in the last field that we planted. This one was planted with 61A19. Hasn't emerged yet, and I haven't actually even dug in this field, so this will be the first one here. We'll see what's happening with it. Doesn't look like there's anything up too far up here. No. Which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. Yep. So he's far behind. Cold. We're about to put a 3 in front of that. Yeah, there's the 3. Yeah, that is cold. So this is the extreme. Did you know the Farmer's Almanac was saying that we were supposed to have above average temperatures for this time? Yeah. When we did this, it was above average temperatures for the next 30 days. It's like 38.4 low. At what temperature do we stop growing? Below 50 degrees, you're not going to have water intake as much. Yeah, water intake or any really amount of growth, and then that kind of re-kickstarts. So then the length of the period where that seed's just sitting idle is kind of the danger period, where more prone to fungal pathogens being able to attack that seed, insects being able to attack that seed. So that'll kind of delay the days till emergence, obviously. They're about identical stage there.
I think they're at an okay stage. They're young enough now that they'll kind of be able to sit there until Thursday or Friday when we warm up, and then kind of jump start back up again. As long as the temperature around that growing point doesn't get so cold that it kills the seedling completely.
There's what we got, and we're cold, Rob.
About 38.5 degrees where the seeds were.
He took off.
Out here in the field and planted on the 5th, but this is 64A15 drought guard. 41, 40 and a half.
It's slowing down.
Stop, go the other way.
Let's call it that. Yeah, we don't want to leave the trench open. Let me get some sunlight.
Wonder if he's got a bigger taproot. It looks like it might have a little bigger taproot. A little bigger taproot, and it's whatever. What did you say the fancy word?
Coleoptile.
The coleoptile, the thing that goes up. The coleoptile.
That's easy to remember.
Is
there you go.
It's the full seed height there, and it was just sprouted on the other one.
Yep. There you
go the right
just
way.
Gained a 1/4 inch just by.
He'll be the first one to emerge.
Are you doing that test where if you plant the seed perfectly pointed down?
Or not.
No, yeah, you're not gonna go plant 30 of them, 30,000 of them in an acre. Oh, here, every single seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, now Brandon and I are in the first field that I planted, which was planted on the 2nd, which today is the 21st, which makes it in the ground for 19 days. This will be the corn that's probably the most at risk. There's also one row out here that is planted shallower than the other ones, which was a mistake that I should have caught, but I didn't. That's definitely the furthest along, isn't it?
Yep.
Look at that. See, there's a beautiful looking soybean. Yeah, 44. We're a little warmer here.
Yep.
Did you learn anything?
I think this was a good experiment.
Good experiment.
Yep.
We're not failed yet, though. The question that everybody wants to know, or will want to know, is that if you planted early, we took a risk.
Yep.
The reward would be potential better yield. If we make it and this field works its way up and does a good job, now that there's been basically no corn planted, what did we say, the 6th was the day that we stopped, and this is 19 days in the ground. So now this corn has a 19-day head start than even corn that we plant today or tomorrow, when people are probably going to start running their planters.
Yep.
And this corn went into the ground in better conditions than the corn that's going to go in the ground today, most likely. What do you think the yield advantage this could possibly have over waiting?
It's $1 million question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so pollination window, you know, when this field reaches tassel, obviously is going to be earlier than some of your later planted stuff. So
that's going to depend. Do you catch a rain during that time? Do you not catch?
Do you beat the heat? So there's a lot of factors later in the growing season.
A big one might be too, and this is on the other end of it, is that this is 109-day corn for our area. That's relatively low. So what's the chances of us possibly harvesting some high moisture corn maybe even in August before there's the price drop? Because once you hit September, or even the second half of September, the price will drop in between the old crop corn and the new crop corn, unless that window gets narrowed. So there you go. We might even pick up a premium by being able to harvest this corn earlier. So what the risk reward is going to be on this, we don't know, but right now it looks like this corn's got a 19-day head start on anything else that's been planted.
Yeah, and maybe even not a 19-day head start. If this emerges Friday, let's say, and stuff goes in the ground Friday, and that emerges 7 days later, I'd call it a 7-day head start.
You call it?
Because if it gets planted and sits in the ground, it's not really
a head start.
But if it's up and emerging and it's growing,
so you call it the emergence, basically.
The emergence day, the head start, and
which
so
is like VE or something like that. They call it VE.
Yep, VE
okay. So next question: relative maturity on corn is heat units, but what does that heat unit start from? Germination or emergence?
From germination. There's a required amount of GDUs from planting to emergence.
Okay.
But then GDUs to black layer, GDUs to pollination is all calculated after.
Okay. Well, there's our checkup. We're still okay. We've got to make it through the night, which it looks like we'll make it through the night fine.
Yeah.
So-
All the seedlings we've dug up today have all looked pretty healthy. None of them are starting to get that brown rotted seedling. So yeah, I think tonight's kind of our last test of real low nighttime temperatures, and then going into this weekend we're looking a lot better. So I think this field will be up here in just a couple days.
And I don't think we froze last night. Like, we got to freezing temperatures, but there wasn't like a frost or nothing.
For air temp, yeah.
Because we had the cloud coverage. So all right, we better get doing other work. I think we're gonna put it off planting corn until tomorrow. So I'd say that was a very successful meeting with Brandon this morning. Thanks, Brandon, for coming down. When looking at all that seed kind of gives us a little bit of peace of mind, knowing what we got to keep looking for headed into the future. Looks like it worked, you know. Realistically, if your soil conditions are good and your soil conditions are good and your temperatures are good, you can plant it and then it will just stop and hang out there for a little bit. Now, if it got wet, rainy, all different things could change, but right now we're still system's green, I think, from what I understood. We're ready to keep planting. We'll be at it again tomorrow. We'll be taking you guys with us, and we'll see you then. Say bye. Oh, he said